Okay, hello everybody. We're going to get started in just a minute, but while we're waiting, I wanted to first of all we're kicking off our second webinar for this year's CHOC Walk. This year we'll be focusing on team building, fundraising tips, and just how to get started now that you have registered. If you need information on how to register, information about the event, info about, how to fundraise and kind of what the CHOC Walk is. We do have our first webinar available on the website. So you can go on the website or on YouTube. That'll give you a really good overview of all of that. This one's going to be more into the nitty gritty now that you have registered. Maybe you've started a team. How do you build that team? How do you fundraise with your team? And even if you don't have a team, how do you fundraise now that you've registered? So that's what will be our focus for today. We're going to have a few different team captains from different size teams joining us today to give tips and tricks about how they've worked with their team, how they fundraise with their team. So as we go through, if you have any questions for the team captains, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. So we have a Q&A. Otherwise, we will have a general question time at the end. Otherwise, we definitely have our contact info that you can reach us after. We have our email, our live chat, so we'll be able to help you out wherever you need it. So jumping in to talk about teams. So before we talk about our teams that are joining us today, I'll talk about what a team is. So when you start a CHOC Walk team, it's essentially you deciding that you want to join together with family members, friends, community members, maybe people in your office to start a team. It's a lot of fun when you have a team. It's much easier to fundraise. You could fundraise collectively. Maybe you want to do a fundraiser in your office. Maybe you want to do a team event together, which we'll talk about. And then on the day of the walk, obviously, it's a lot more fun because you can decide, what your plan is going to be for that day. Do you want to do matching outfits, matching shirts? Do you want to create banners? You'll see here we have a couple of our teams featured for the different team types. So we have 4 different types of teams. We have our grateful family teams, and that is when they have a connection to a patient at CHOC. And it's, your family and your friends coming together to support CHOC. We have our corporate teams. So if you want to start a team in your office, employees will get together and join to start a team in their office. So that's our corporate side. Community teams could be anything from school clubs, religious clubs, local organizations. Right here, we have the KTLA 5 team with Henry DiCarlo. That's one of our big community teams. You'll also hear from our biggest community team, Mickey's Walkers, later today. So we have lots of really great community teams as well. And then our CHOC affiliate teams are anybody connected to CHOC, like our CHOC nurses, our CHOC departments, and then some of our CHOC guilds that fundraise for CHOC. So good way to kind of sum up what the teams are. So to just kind of sum into creating a team, anyone could start a team. You don't need, approval. You can just go on there, and when you register, there's a button to start a team. We technically categorize a team as a group of 6 or more. You can obviously start one smaller, but for the rankings, we only categorize the 6+ as a team. You could choose what different kind of team you'd like to create. And then, like I said, if you want to fundraise as a team, walk as a team, it's a lot easier. Some of our teams do team events so that we could raise money together, say with like a team lemonade stand or a team garage sale, and then use that money to split across your teammates. So it's a great way to fundraise together and split the money across everybody's account. You also could share out in different ways, so you could reach a lot more people when you're on a team. One thing to note, this is a big thing, whether you're on a team or if you're a part of a family, each person will have to have the money in their account that they're trying to raise. So if you're trying to get to the minimum 125, you'll have to have it in each account. It can't just be all on one person or all on, the team captain. So make sure that we split it up and we can help you with that. Same goes with the family. If you want to all fundraise on one page, that's fine. We could help you move it around, but it will have to be on each individual page. I would suggest if you are fundraising for a family to share out those different family pages so that way each person reaches that minimum that you're looking to reach. But just a side note about how you raise for more than one person. So now we want to talk about more specifically the teams. So we're going to be kicking off with one of our smaller teams, but they're definitely small but mighty. So they are actually our ambassador team for this year. They have been some of the top fundraisers for the past couple of years, and they're able to do a lot with a very small amount of people on their team. So I want to pass it over to Jennifer and Kara from Team Super Care and Friends. That's going to talk a little bit more about how they're able to do it.
Hi, everyone. Yes, thank you so much, Ashley, for the introduction. Yes, this is Kara, this year's CHOC Walk Ambassador, and it's our team Super Care and Friends started back in 2013, and you see in the picture right up on the right-hand side, that was our team of 5. And Kara, I was holding Kara, so when Ashley said, oh, team building for it needs to be 6 or more, I think that's a recent addition. We started fundraising in 2013 with just a team of 5. That year we raised $1,400, and that was just merely asking family and friends to donate to our cause. And then once we posted that up on Facebook, other people within our friend group saw our connection with CHOC, and they said, oh, what's your connection? This is my connection. And so the following year, they joined us. So it just kind of like kept growing. It's very much like a expanding and deflating balloon. Like we never really had more than 20 people on our team, and people come and go. You know, I think we do have a core group of walkers, which is about 10 to 12. And that has been consistent throughout the year, but more so than that, it kind of just grew and then kind of shrank, grew and shrank. And I don't feel like it's a bad thing. You know, people have busy lives, they are changing lives. And so we always want to try to revisit our team members and say, hey, how is it going this year? Would you like to walk with us again? And if they can, they would. And that's how we were able to sort of keep our team there. But it's asking them and reminding them that CHOC is still in our forefront. And if they can help us to join our team, that means that there's that registration fee that goes towards your team goal. So that's basically it. So for us, it was more of fundraising. I think we focus more on fundraising versus recruiting a lot of team members. And we have so much fun with the fundraising. And let's see here. Ashley, can you change the slide? So again, so for your team, what is your focus? Do you want to focus on fundraising, or would you like to focus on recruiting? Of course, you can do both. But for our team, we like to focus on fundraising. And so for the first fundraiser we had, it was actually a few years after we just kept asking for donations. So about 4 years later, we're like, well, maybe we should start a small community event. And it happened right in our house and in our garage. We set up a few carnival games and raffle prizes. I think we took trips to Target to buy like the trendiest toys so that we can raffle off. And it just became really fun. And then as we posted that on Facebook and our social media, people got wind of it. And so in 2018, it grew to a bigger venue. A local business asked, hey, would you like to host it at my place? It was a dance studio. And then we were able to invite more people. And then 2019, it grew even bigger than that. And that's when we included sponsorships. And that was our first time asking for other businesses to sponsor. So we had different activity stations for the kids. And it was always like family oriented. And we wanted to make it fun for the kids and understand that philanthropy, giving back, supporting CHOC isn't a hard thing. It's really fun. And that's what we were focusing on. So in 2019, we had those activity stations set up for the for family members, for kids to do, and the businesses sponsored that part of the activity, and it just kind of like grew from there. And Kara also did a lot of legwork within the events itself. She came up with Kara Care Cards, so I'll leave it up to Kara to kind of talk to you about what she has been doing since 2016, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
2016.
So, Cara Care Cards was the business I created to help fundraise for CHOC because I decided that I should sell something and maybe people can buy from me and that's how I can fundraise. So, I started in 2018, I started doing watercolors with my cards, and my mom got me crafting supplies instead of throwing them away or leaving it around the house. I was forced to get prepared for our fundraising events and to research different ways on how to reach my target market, how to have them interested in what I'm making. And those are one of the key factors I learned from it, and it's helping me in my daily life and what I learned in school. Um, then later on, we started selling more at fundraisers. I started incorporating my community members, and I have cards that were designed from Hawaii by Kaden Korenga, sorry, and from Louisiana by Olivia Yee. And we also have some designers here in Tustin from Cassie Wynn and Leora Levy. Then that franchise grew, and Cara cards, we didn't just make the cards, we started making bracelets and necklaces, and we sell them and fund, and all the money goes back to CHOC, and that's how we make a lot of our fundraising money. But it's not just that it's not just one benefit. It's also the awareness that we're spreading with everyone in our community, because when I was selling, I noticed that more people wanted to get involved. And that's my goal, is to encourage involvement and that's just the start of it. So it's one of the key factors on fundraising for CHOC, is to create awareness so that more people know about your cause.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest thing that kind of kept us going, is that whenever we would post something up or whenever we talk about it, there was always someone there on the receiving end saying, "Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this." And we were like, "No, I have to thank you. You're donating to CHOC." And they're like, "No, I actually want to do something, make a difference, and you're offering me that that platform, that avenue." So don't be afraid to go out there, spread the news, just ask, and you'd be surprised about the feedback, the support that you'd get. And that's what we've been seeing for the past 11 years now. So that's why we keep on going.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. There was a lot of great tips in there, a lot of great feedback on how you can progress over the years. So I think that's huge for people that are just starting their teams, or that maybe feel like having not a large team is not enough to do good. You could do a lot with a few people. So you guys are a great example of that. And we thank you for joining. So it looks like we have no questions right now. So we'll let you guys go. And thank you so much for joining us. Awesome. So moving on, we're going to jump now from a smaller team to a kind of medium-sized team. They've been walking for quite some time, but they've been able to engage their team, keep them engaged, and also build their team by sharing their story and really reminding people why they're walking and what their connection is to CHOC. So I want to introduce our next team, which is Team Darlin's Angels, and Marian, who's going to be talking about how she uses food fundraisers and sharing her story to help build.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marian, and I am team captain for Team Darlin's Angels. This year will be our 8th year walking for CHOC Walk. We walk in memory and honor of our daughter, Darlin. She was born in 2017, passed in 2018. Our first year walking for CHOC Walk, she was in the NICU in 2017. It was a very small team, last minute. Literally, I think we planned it within like 2 days before the walk. we've been walking since, and our team throughout the year has grown a little bit, more, and then sometimes certain years it downsizes a little bit. But we are very passionate about sharing our daughter's story and our why as to why we participate in CHOC Walk, what our connection with CHOC is, and what keeps our team together, how we keep our team engaged. So I'm very open about our daughter's journey and her journey at CHOC on social media. I share it. I'm very open about it. Share it and share her beautiful smile that she shared with all of us. Our families are engaged, our friends friends. So that's one way that we have been able to keep everybody engaged with it, and we celebrate her throughout the year. We never forget about her and her legacy. And we always remind people that CHOC is at our forefront and why we do what we do for CHOC. So I host 2 annual fundraisers usually every year. So one is a Ruby's food fundraiser, Ruby's restaurant. It's fun, it's family oriented, everybody comes out, it's a great time. And we usually have a very great turnout. And I do her Ruby's fundraiser on her anniversary date. We have raffles, giveaways, and people remember that. And every year I get people who ask me, hey, are you going to host the fundraiser? And so that's one thing we do. Second is we do a food fundraiser at home. Last one we did was a pupusa fundraiser. It's a traditional food in our culture, and it was an amazing turnout. Again, we keep everything, we just run it so fluid and so organic. We posted signs outside of our home. We had chalk canopies, and we had people from all over coming in and supporting as soon as they saw what organization we were doing it for. So, for you teams that are trying to figure out what to do as far as fundraising, can be something as minimal as like we did, who's a fundraiser, and have raffles. And again, keeping it organic has been one of the ways that it works for us, and just fluid. And share your story, and share your why. Share why CHOC is important to you. Be open about it. And you will be so surprised of how many people we have met throughout our years that were complete strangers, and now they're part of our family. They walk with us. And sometimes people can't walk, but they'll donate. So our team has ranged anywhere between 100 people walking with us to 45, I think, has been the smallest that we've had. So it's not necessarily about how many people walk with you, it's just keeping your team engaged. So it keeps on going every year, and be consistent with it. It's beautiful to do CHOC Walk because we're all reminded as to why we're there. What is the reason why we're there? To walk alongside other families in who are walking in memory, or for a child, or just to walk for CHOC. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, we're going to continue to do it for as long as we can, and continue fundraising.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marian. I think you guys do a really great job of sharing. So I would highly suggest, if you want to look up their team on social media, you can learn about Darlin and her story, learn about their CHOC Walk team, or you could search them on the CHOC Walk website. But I think that's a great example. You could just bring people together to eat. Everybody has to eat. Everybody wants to go out to eat. So throw something at a restaurant. If you want to do something at a house and have something outside on your front lawn. Great way to bring people together. And obviously, once you say it's for CHOC, it's very easy to get people that want to do more. So I think that's a great example. And it looks like we have no questions. So thank you so much for joining us, Marian, and we'll talk to you soon. Awesome. So next we're going to talk to one of our team captains that is one of our larger teams. So they have been walking for quite some time. She'll share with you. They are one of the biggest teams that we have, and they have been one of the top fundraising teams for the past couple of years. And they're able to do that by really keeping engaged year round. So I want to introduce Sharon, who's on our Mickey's Walkers team, so she could talk a little bit more about how she keeps her team together. Hey, Sharon.
Hi. I'm Sharon. I'm team captain for Mickey's Walkers. And I'll give you just a real short team history of how we started. I used to do the Disney marathons all the time. And with my love of Disney and my love of marathoning, there was a group of us that we would do these, and then I kept hearing about the CHOC Walk, and I thought, oh, that sounds like a fun one to do. And so a group of us decided we were going to do it. And a friend of mine who is president of a Disney team says, hey, how about let's opening up to our team or our Disney club? And I said, oh, sure, why not? And so we started out kind of smallish. I'm not even sure how many we had that first year, but we have grown over the years to where now we are averaging about, I would say about right around 100 members each year. We have team members who drop out. We have new team members who join us. We do have some team members whose children have benefited from CHOC, so we do have that personal touch as well. So, but growing our team, how do we grow our team? We fundraise year round. We enjoy the fundraising, and we try to make it as fun as we can. We pick out different Disney themes every year. So one of the things that my team members are constantly asking me is, what's our theme for next year? This year, our team theme is Toy Story, so we'll be designing shirts and making it fun for everyone. But the biggest thing of how we keep our team going and keep us going strong is through communication. And our main communication channel is actually through the CHOC website. As a team captain, when you log on, it takes you to your dashboard. And on your dashboard, there is a little button to click on there that says emails, which can send out emails to your entire team, or it can send out to just a few members of your team. If you have specific people that you want, maybe some team members who haven't fundraised yet and you want to encourage them to get going. So there are templates there that CHOC has already created for us. And sometimes I just use those templates, and sometimes I will do something a little more personal, and I'll create my own message to go out through the website. So that's a great way to communicate with them. The only problem there is sometimes your team members will opt out of receiving emails, and that can be a problem. So what I will do there is I will try to send them an individual personal email, or maybe a text or a phone call, to try to maintain some communication with them there. I also like to utilize, there's an app or a program or a website. I think you can do it in several different ways, where you utilize Evite. I will use my Evite membership to send out invitations for fundraisers. And when I do that, I will also put the information in there for any of our upcoming fundraisers. I will also list a save the date form in there, so they know which dates we're doing fundraisers, so they can plan ahead for that as well. And I will also use Zoom to keep in touch, just like we're doing here tonight. I will send out an Evite saying, hey, I'm going to do a Zoom meeting this day and this time, and these are the subjects we're going to cover. And hopefully they will log on and get all the information. As it gets closer to CHOC Walk, you're going to want to give them personal information as far as like maybe when you're going to meet up that morning, where you're going to meet up that morning. Being such a large team, I usually pick up all of our team goodies that we get from CHOC, and then I will have a meetup somewhere the night before where people can come and pick up their items from me, rather than each individual member going to CHOC and pick up their prizes that they've received from CHOC. So Zoom is also a really good method to get the information out there. It's not easy wrangling such a large team, but the payoff is really worth it because we work hard, we work all year round. We do all kinds of fundraisers to raise money for CHOC. We'll do garage sales, we'll do bingo games, we'll do fundraisers at restaurants, a lot of different things that we'll do. And we'll even do smaller events just to keep in touch, especially during off season. Last year we had Terry Harden come and do a class on how to not carve pumpkins. According to Terry, you learn to sculpt a pumpkin. Then we'll have craft fairs. We'll do handmade goods to do craft fairs. But one of the ways we do fundraise in a smaller way is we will do Zoom bingos. And we started the Zoom bingos during COVID. And we started doing it mostly as a way to keep in touch as a team with our members. When everybody was stuck at home and couldn't do anything. And it was something that everybody looked forward to every week we played. We didn't charge anything, we just did it for fun. And then we decided that, hey, it might be a way to actually make some money for CHOC while we're having fun. So we started doing just maybe a small fee, charging like $10 to play, or we would have raffles during our Zoom bingos, and everybody would chip in $5 and we'd get prizes donated. And some of our members would donate like $5 Starbucks gift cards or In-N-Out gift cards that we could use as prizes. And we've actually carried that over into our live fundraisers as well, because we have team members who maybe move away. I've got team members who live in Northern California, from all the way back to the East Coast in Virginia, to all the way across the ocean to England. I have a couple over there who play Zoom bingo with us. So it's also a way to keep our members engaged who maybe don't live close enough to participate in the live fundraisers that we do. And everybody has fun doing it. It's a great way to keep in touch. I stress with my team members more, even though we try our best to raise as much money as we can every year. I stress more than anything participation and keeping my team members engaged. And I have a few team members who are not going to be able to participate in the walk this year, simply because the date is a little earlier than normal and they had already planned maybe a family vacation. My one grandson can't participate this year because he's already booked for a summer camp during that time. But I still encourage them, even if they can't participate in the walk itself, that they stay involved with the team and with our events that we do, even leading up to the walk, because even if they can't walk, they still get the benefit of earning their incentives, and they still have the joy of participating with the team and doing good things by raising funds and helping these kids and their families. And really, that's the bottom line. So the biggest part I stress to everyone is have fun with what you're doing. It's a good thing, what you're doing. And just be there for each other.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Honestly, I'm always so amazed by you and your team and your commitment to CHOC. Every year, you're just keeping everyone engaged year round. And, I know you say you have some people that have connections, but you really just are a true community group that wants to give back to their community, wants to give back to the hospital. And we celebrate you because that is a big thing to do. You guys are doing great work. You've raised so much money. You haven't even touched on it, but you have raised so much money for the hospital over the years. So we are so grateful to have you and your expertise. And I'm hoping people will watch this and learn a lot, because you're one of our mega fundraisers and our mega team. So I learn from you every day when you talk. So I'm grateful that you were able to come on and share your wisdom. And I know Emily had a quick question for you before you jump off.
Okay.
Yeah, Sharon, you talk about all your fundraising, and so I'm thinking some participants might think, well, gosh, they don't launch the website until, I think, what was it, February, March, whatever we launched this year. So how, maybe tips and tricks on like when you do year round, how do you organize that? How do you work around not having a launched official website for the new year?
What we do is we just we do our fundraisers as if we are actually working off the website every day, every time we do a fundraiser, as if it's there, even though it's not. And we just put all the funds into an account. And then as soon as that website opens, we start putting those funds right in there. And also how we do for individuals, because not everybody can afford to raise as much money as they want to actually walk. Maybe they're struggling a little bit financially, but we take the money and we divide it up between our team members' accounts, so that whether they can raise a lot or they can raise a little, we make sure that every single one of our team members can participate. So we just put it into an account until it's time for it to go into CHOC. And it's worked so far.
Yeah, I think it's working out pretty well for you. So I think you have your system down.
We're working on it, and I'm trying to get some of my younger members to kind of step up so they can fill these shoes and keep going even when the day comes that I can no longer do it. And I hope that's way off in the future. But hopefully I'm trying to get some young people to move in and keep working alongside us and being as engaged with it as we are. So we're trying.
Okay, well, not anytime soon because we need you here now, but maybe in the far off future, you can pass the baton.
Okay, you got it. We will. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon, for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, awesome. So now that we've gotten all of those great tips from different size teams, now we want to jump into just fundraising as a whole. Maybe you don't have a team, maybe you have a small team, maybe you're new. We want to jump into some of the very easy and quick ways that you can raise money if you're just starting out. And so I'm going to pass it over to Emily, who's going to start by talking about some great fundraising tips.
I love all the tips that our teams have shared, and I think a common theme that we hear is that they do events and different things to engage their community, which are all such great opportunities. But don't feel that you need to throw a fundraiser. Don't feel like you have to plan this big event if it's not your thing. If you are not the person that likes to plan events or do big organizing, that's okay. I think sometimes we get caught up and think we have to do these big magical things. And at the end of the day, another common thing we hear is share your story. And that's really what it boils down to, is at the end of the day, we're raising money for CHOC. And so I just always encourage folks to not underestimate the personal ask, the simple ask of, hey, I'm doing this and I'd love your support. So we kind of have a few simple steps you see on the right is personalize your greeting, right? Hey, John, hey, so-and-so, versus doing a blanket email to every single person. Sometimes it's adding a little note of, hey, just saw that family vacation you went on. The photos look amazing. I hope you all had such a great time. So something that just notes that, like, again, this isn't a blanket email you've sent out to everyone. Obviously, it takes a little bit longer to add those personal notes, but I do think it goes a long way. Share your personal story. So as Miriam mentioned, and our different folks always mention, right? Sharing your story. And if you don't have a story personally, maybe you are that community team like Sharon just spoke about, you can use our ambassador's family story. That's kind of why we have an ambassador, right? To have that reason why we fundraise. And so we have a whole page on chocwalk.org. You can share that video and say, this is, we do this for kids like Kara, for kids like Hudson, for all our other previous ambassadors that we've had in the past. So really lean into that personal story. Explain what you're doing, right? What is CHOC Walk? Maybe they don't know what CHOC is, the hospital, and what the CHOC Walk is. So a very brief explanation is always helpful. And always make sure that you share your goal and a clear call to action. So how can they help? And usually what I mean by call to action is sharing your link. Everyone that signs up gets their own personalized fundraising link. Make sure you always share that link, whether it's in a letter, it's in an email, a text, whatever that is, social media, and then share why they should donate to CHOC, right? What are the great things that CHOC is doing to help our kiddos in our community? Finally, I think something, and this kind of goes off with the point on the left there of don't assume you'll get a no. It's sometimes like, well, the times are hard, or they've been going through a lot, or this or that. You never know. But at the same time, just be gracious. Always think that, hey, if this isn't the right time, share this message with someone you think might be interested. So there's always a number of ways that people can help, whether that's physically giving you money, or it's just sharing your story, sharing your link with others. But with that, don't assume you'll get a no. I know when I do my fundraising, the people that I never expect will donate the most give me the most money. And sometimes the people you think will donate the most will give you the least money, or they won't donate. So you'll be surprised when you start asking people and just really being honest and sharing, what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then bonus call to action actually is perfect into my next segment. I'll get to that in a sec. Ashley, you can go ahead. I just put up a few kind of generic examples, right? So there's the 3 different levels. I think when you talk about the personal ask in the letter, that feels really large and overwhelming. And oh my gosh, I have to write a whole letter. Are people going to read this? Maybe they won't. That's okay. You don't have to. But this kind of is the long version, the medium version, and the short version. So on the top left, you'll see kind of an email variation of that, and then a text message, right? Those clear points of, this is my 5th year. I have a big goal of raising $5,000 by this date. This is how you can support me. And then you throw in your fundraising link. So super easy. Sometimes it's just, scheduling 30 minutes for yourself to text everyone in your contact book or emails or whatever that is best for you. And then if you want to go ahead, the bonus call to action that I was referring to is doubling your impact, which is matching gifts. And so you can always add to the bottom of the message or use it in a thank you, is saying, hey, thanks so much for your donation. Does your company have matching gifts? Or I know that your company has matching gifts, and would you be willing to submit your gift for a match? And so if you're not familiar, matching gifts is when a company has a program pretty much pre-established. Most companies, it's a well-established program that they have in place, and they donate to whatever organizations you donate to. So let's, for example, say that I worked at the Home Depot and I donate to Ashley's fundraiser. I can then submit to Home Depot and say, hey, look, I've donated $50 to Ashley for CHOC. Will you match that donation? And so Home Depot, typically, as long as it falls within their giving guidelines, will also donate that $50. So it's really doubling your impact. It's super easy. These are just a very, very small snapshot of some of the companies that match. There are tons of companies that match. And on our website, you'll see that bottom lower left corner, that is a search bar. So you can search any company, see what their matching gift guidelines are. We have a whole page on our website that you can go to, chocwalk.org/matching. If there's any questions, you're also welcome to reach out to our team and say, hey, I'm not sure how to get started with this. Can you walk me through it? But be strategic, right? So think about who are those people in your life that you're like, oh, I actually know someone who works at Nike or Boeing, or oh, my, so-and-so works at Apple. Think about who in your network, and we kind of have a full list on the website as well that you can kind of go through that and be like, oh, so-and-so works here, oh, so-and-so works there. And that way you can be very strategic and follow up and say, hey, would you be willing to submit your match? Again, utilizing that thank you note is the perfect opportunity to do that second ask in a soft way. And then follow up. Sometimes life gets busy. People, oh yeah, definitely I'll submit, and then they forget about it, which is totally fine. But as you get closer to that event time frame, don't be afraid to just shoot them a follow-up message and make sure that they're submitting. It's money that companies already commit to giving. They want to support what their employees support, and so this is a really great opportunity. And Ash, if you want to go forward to the next one, this is just kind of a snapshot, some real life examples. I know I talk about it as it's really easy, but as you can see, like you can make a huge impact with your fundraising. So the first 3 are team fundraisings that I did as a whole, and then 3 individuals on the bottom. You'll see Super Care and Friends is on there, who spoke today. And you'll see some of it, it's, some of our larger fundraising teams, maybe that small percent, 8% of their funds, but there's some who raise 20, 30% of their funds come through matching. And so depending on what levels you want to reach, this is going to help you get there. So like I said, chalkwalk.org/matching, or ask one of our team members. We're happy to walk you through it if this is something new for you, if you don't know, but certainly encourage you to try to tap into this year if you haven't.
Awesome. Thanks, Em. Those are some great tips. So definitely check out the website. All the information will be on there. So jumping from some of those tips into other ways you can fundraise on your own as a new fundraiser, just getting started. Social media, I know a lot of people have talked about on the webinar, but it's a really easy way to share your story with a large audience, and in very, very quick. You know, I think we all know social media. You can pop on there, be on there for 10, 15 minutes and get a ton done. We already have a lot available for you to help you out. So if you could see here on the slide, we have banners to put on your Facebook or your Instagram, your Twitter. We have icons that you can post. If you want to post one of our icons to do a post and say, hey, maybe you don't have a story, you could share our generic and say, I'm fundraising to walk for CHOC. I want to raise money for the hospital because of X, Y, and Z. You can post any of the assets we already have. We also have elements for your story. So I know stories are also very big, very easy. You could see some on the bottom here. You can make it something fun where you post that and say, okay, I'm trying to raise money to get to the 125 minimum. Maybe you're trying to reach the 350, which we have talked about in the past webinar. It'll get you a ticket to the park that day. So if you're trying to reach it, post that in your story. Say anybody that donates, I'm going to post. Maybe it's a funny photo. Maybe it's I'm going to post the throwback post. Whatever you want to do. There's a lot of creative ways to really get that word out on social media. But like I said, we have a lot already available for you that you can take and post on your social to make it easy. If you have been to the CHOC Walk before, so if you have pictures from years past, I highly encourage you to post those. I know a lot of our fundraisers will post pictures the day of the walk. They're out there having a good time, they're celebrating, they're meeting new teams, and people will respond, oh my gosh, I didn't know about this. If I would have known, I would have come, I would have donated. Posting flashback photos of when you've done walks in years past, talking about how incredible it was, the experience, meeting teams. People will see that and make the connection to the CHOC Walk. It's much better than, having a generic post. So if you have photos, if you have stories, if you have anything, definitely post your own content. That's a great way to get people engaged on your social media. I'll jump to the bottom bullet. So consistency and outreach. So just because you post once, don't get discouraged if nobody donates to you. It's going to take a little bit of repetition. So when I will post on my social, I'll post an initial post to let people know that I'm walking this year, maybe an update to say, here's a picture of me last year at the CHOC Walk. I had such a great time and I met so many teams. I would love it if you could join my team or you could donate so I could raise more money than last year. When I start to get up to my goal, maybe I've reached halfway through. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for donating. I've already raised $300, but can we double it? Will you donate now? You definitely need to keep consistent, especially because there's so much on social media. Don't get discouraged. Like I said, if you post it once and nothing happens, you will have to post a little bit. But again, social media is so quick, so easy. Jump on there and just kind of give some updates every couple weeks, and you'd be surprised how quickly your numbers will raise. And I think we mentioned earlier, make sure whenever you post, put your URL for your personal page, for your team page. That way they can just click the link, go directly to your page and donate. That segues me into Facebook fundraisers. So we have talked a little bit about this. We do have our Facebook fundraiser feature back on the website this year. That is with a caveat. So you will need to have the same email on your CHOC Walk account that you use on your Facebook account. So if you have the same email on both, great. Once you log in, all you do is click that button on your dashboard to create a fundraiser, and it'll automatically connect. It'll post on your Facebook. You can post and tell people about it. And all those dollars will automatically go from your Facebook onto your CHOC Walk page. If you don't have the same email, so say your email on chalkwalk.org is not the same as your Facebook email, it is going to block you from creating that just because of the way that the system is built. So right now we do not have a solve for that. We're trying to work on that, but I'd say in the meantime, if you have a different email, use the system I talked about earlier. Just post your link, tell people to go to your page, You could put your link in your bio on Instagram. I would say that's always the easiest way because people will just use that direct link. But I will mention that if you do go directly to Facebook, to Instagram, they do have those donate buttons on there where you could create your own fundraiser. That is not the same as ours. Unfortunately, because it's on the channel, it doesn't connect directly to our CHOC Walk website. So if you have a fundraiser on there, it will have money that will be coming in, but that will go to the generic CHOC page. It's not for CHOC Walk. So we highly encourage you, if you have one of those, cancel it and instead put your page link in your bio, post it on your post, or create the Facebook fundraiser through your dashboard. That's going to be the easiest way for you to do that. Another tool that I just want to double reference. So we talked about this in our last webinar, but if you're brand new and you just have no idea what to do, you know, you want to raise the $125 to attend, you want to raise the $350 and get a ticket to come to the park that day. It can seem a little daunting, especially after hearing people that have been doing it forever. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. So we have this worksheet on our website, and there's a link at the top of this page that we'll send out. It really breaks it down into very easy steps that you could just check off a list. So if you want to reach that 125, okay, I'm going to write a personal letter, send 10 emails, and hopefully 2 people give a gift, or maybe it's more and smaller gifts. There's $50 right there. Maybe you have a small opportunity drawing. So you have items that you have, you know, nearby. We do have items that we could give you that you can use for your fundraising, or if you get something donated, create a little raffle basket, sell tickets. There you go. There's another $20 if you get 10 people to enter. Posting on social media, like we just talked about, asking people to just skip their Starbucks for a day. So $5, if you get 5 people to do that, there's another $25. And as you can see, it so quickly adds up. There you go. There's your 125. If you want to raise 200, maybe you add in a matching gift. And if you ask for 2 people to do a match, there you go. You're at your 200. Going into the 350, maybe you decide to hold a restaurant fundraiser. We talked about how Darlin's Angels did their own restaurant fundraiser. All you have to do is get 25 people there at $10 a meal. There you go. There's another $80. It really kind of lays it out. So I would say, if you do feel a little, you know, off put by all of the different ideas, I know it's a ton. We make it super simple. So if you just want to start from the basics, figure out, okay, I'm registered. Where do I go from here? We have a lot of great resources on our website. So we link to this and other items on there. So I definitely would recommend you check everything out. And we wanted to just stop and just let you know, you may have questions later on. You may want to reach out because something sparked something in your brain about how to create a team, how to fundraise. We're always available. So I have on this next slide a link to our contact page. We have a live chat. We have our email on there. We have a phone number. If you just want to brainstorm, if you want to connect and you need more ideas, we have a contact on there. Feel free to send us questions anytime you have. Otherwise, we're going to be taking this webinar and the recording, putting it on our website along with the other one. We have other videos on our YouTube with tutorials, and there's just lots of items that you can use just on how to get started. So if you need anything, feel free to reach out to us. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on July 21st. So I hope you all have a great night.